I'm slow. I'm slow, so you'll have to work with me on that. Now let's go back to sharing. And I was going to pull up, Dr. Revis, for you to just briefly go over some class norms. Give me a second. And I'm still learning where everything is myself, so this is it. Schedule of activities and Zoom sessions. Should be Saturday class. Dr. Revis, just go ahead and talk about, what our expectations are.
Dr. Evers, you're muted.
Thank you, Dr. Bullis. First of all, we always like for you to have your cameras on so we can put a name with a face. So if you don't have your camera on, please do that right now. And also, where your name is showing, make sure that you put your name so we can put that name and face together. Now, if you're joining on an iPhone and you usually don't do that, I understand that that may happen sometimes. You'll need to tell us who is joining us on the iPhone with no name. We will start promptly every week at 6 o'clock, and we will go at least an hour. Most of the time, we're going to go an hour and a half. We ask you that you give this class your undivided attention, meaning that tell your family, that you are going to be in class, you're going to be working, and we like for you to be able to concentrate. We want you to always mute yourself when you come on. Of course, if your settings are that way, you're muted and you have to actually cut your audio on, but always remain muted. We don't look at the chat box. You can write in the chat box all you want to, but we're not going to look at it. So don't write in it. When you're writing in the chat box, you're not listening. We will give you an opportunity before the end of the class to ask any answers and to write in the chat box if that's how you want to ask your questions, but we don't read the chat box. It's distracting to me and Dr. Stedman, and it's distracting to others when you chat in the chat box. We ask that you come prepared to class, and that means if you had an assignment due on Sunday evening, we're going to talk about that on Wednesday most of the time. And so be prepared to share your thoughts if you get called on. What are our other norms, Dr. Stedman?
Well, it's just, you respect each other. Guys, you realize, and you've seen this in the correspondence that Dr. Revis and I have sent out to you already. It's not we're not, trying to threaten, not trying to scare you, whatever, but we have only 10 weeks to complete 15 weeks of work, what you've normally been doing. And only 7 weeks do we have to get all of your evidence work in. That's going to be the CAP and the PSYOP that we're all going to talk about tonight. We've only got 7 weeks to get that completed in. So again, it goes back to what Dr. Revis said. You've got to you have to discipline yourself. You've got to keep those timelines. And then there's some that have had us in the past, and they know I'm a stickler about if I say it's due now, then that's what I expect it to be turned in when it's supposed to be turned in, and as proficient, as accomplished as it can be when you turn it in. So we're here to help you. We're gonna work through this together, but I can't stress enough, or we can't stress enough, the importance of making sure that you have to make this program a priority to be able to finish with fidelity at the end. Just a reminder, there are no incompletes in the programs at Gardner Webb, incompletes. And because you're not walking across a stage at the end of this program, you won't do that until December. For all practical purposes, you are still graduating from the program based on what DPI is going to require from us. So we have to get everything, every I dotted, every T crossed It must be done when we say it must be done in order for us to get you across the finish line so that you can get your DPI certification and you will be fully qualified at the end of this program. Shortly after, you'll be fully qualified to go anywhere and be an administrator. So that is our goal. And then you can graduate and get your big degree come December. But you don't have to wait until then, to be able to move forward with the credentials that you have. So that's it. And again, we are going to answer any question that you have. Jot it down. And over the course of the evenings, we probably will answer most of them. But if we don't, at the very end, those of you that don't have any questions, you can go ahead and sign off when that time comes. But if you have a question that we have not answered, then we like to save it at the end so that we're not holding everybody up. Is that fair? Everybody good with our norms? Okay. This is
Dr.
what
Stedman,
yes.
what if I've got a vacation planned this summer?
Well, that doesn't stop progress. We don't deal with vacations. That's your personal decision, but work is still due when we say it's due. If you've got a presentation, you've got to work out arrangements with your team, and you've got to do your part no matter what, where you are. Dr. Bullis, you went on vacation last year and you still had to work, didn't you?
Yeah, and I'm actually in the camper right now
Right now.
working.
And that's with any of us.
Come in tonight. So yep.
Yeah. We understand that if this is your choice, but we cannot put a hold on anything. Don't send me a message or Dr. Revis a message or Dr. Bullis or Dr. Moreglia and say, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be here this week. I won't be able to. That's unexcusable. You must work it in your plans, and your work is due. That's the bottom line. Is that fair? Okay, we're going to do our part. You do your part, okay? This is what our schedule is going to look like tonight. I don't think we need to go through Blackboard Ultra. You know the process. You go through there and you click on everything, and I hope most of you have already, and you see what's expected. We ask you to come tonight having done that already, but if you haven't, you go through there. Then if you have a question, you can reach out to Dr. Revis and me as your classroom instructor, or to Dr. Moreglia and Dr. Bullis as your clinical intern, for those questions. But we're going to talk tonight about your independent assignments, your major assignment, which is the PSEL standards and digital competency presentations. Then another big assignment that's in the independent assignments is your strength-based assignment. And then we're going to do some additional talking about the evidence 5, the CAP, and evidence 6, the PSYOP. But at this time, I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to turn it over to your clinical coaches, Dr. Bullis, who will be working specifically with Dr. Revis, Dr. Moreglia, who will be working specifically with me. I want them to introduce themselves, and then I think Dr. Bullis is going to present some things and basically lay out the plan for how your evidence and your task stream, how all that's going to work. So I'm going to stop share and turn it over to these experts at this time.
All right. Well, thank you, Dr. Stedman. Appreciate that. And once again, this is a little bit different arrangement. If you've had me in the past or last semester, you have two course instructors that are meeting together, and so the two cohorts are meeting together. However, as Dr. Stedman and Dr. Revis already adequately explained to you, I will be the clinical coach for the students on Dr. Revis's roster, and Dr. Morgalla will be the clinical coach for the candidates on Dr. Stedman's roster. So for my students, for my candidates, the process is basically the same. There's going to be a few differences. Number one, you will be working in my internship shell in Blackboard. So just like last semester, just go into Blackboard. You should have access to the internship shell. If you don't reach out to me, I've already looked over the rosters and sent some things out. And hey, great job on a lot of you. I've already been getting tasks from CAP, and some of you are rolling right along. So great job on that. I've already been getting some submissions to TaskStream, so you're already hitting a good pace right now. But anyway, make sure that you go into my internship shell and do the enrollment verification there as well. I saw that many of you have already done that, so thank you for doing that. Just make sure that you get that accomplished. The process is the same. You will go into my internship shell and you will submit your task, whether it's for the CAP or whether it's for the PSYOP. You'll submit that to me. I'll review it. I'll give feedback. I may say, hey, this is a great job. Let's take a grade on it right away. But anyway, it's a process that helps me keep my eyes on it several times so I can give you good feedback and make sure that specific task is in good shape before we push it on down the TaskStream route. So we're going to be doing that same process. We'll do a review, and then after we're done with the review, I want to take another look at it in Dropbox. I'll pull a grade on it that justifies the grade that I give you. I've got that documented. And then instead of you processing it on to TaskStream for this semester, your last semester, it's always good to have another set of eyeballs on it. So instead of telling you, hey, task 1 is great, ready to go, when you finish that task, I'm going to say, ready to be submitted to Dr. Revis or to your course instructor, because Dr. Revis is going to take another look at it, make sure that I haven't missed anything. And you can tell I'm wearing glasses. I'm an old guy. I keep my hair cut short so you don't see the gray in it. So I'm like that Toby Keith song, I'm as good once as I ever was. So let's let Dr. Revis back us all up to make sure that we got you in good shape. So by the time it gets to TaskStream, you're going to not have it kicked back to you. It's going to be at least a 3, more likely a 4 at this level. We see 4 more than anything else. So I will tell you, ready to submit to Dr. Revis. And so that's my process. So I do want to share a little bit, see if you got any questions on the CAP and the PSYOP. But before I do that, I'd like to turn it over to Dr. Morgalla and see if she's got any comments about those candidates working with her.
Good evening. I am Anna Maraglia, and I am very excited to be working with you this semester. I've already heard from a few folks in Dr. Stedman's cohort, and I am glad that some of you are already off and running. We cannot stress enough how quickly things go this semester, and you've got to be on top of things so that you can be done, and that'll be such a happy day. My process is going to be very much like Dr. Bullis, where you will submit your work to me through the course shell, the internship shell, and I will review it, give you feedback. Some of you have already seen that process in action. I'll ask you to let me see it one more time, and then I'll let you know when you can then submit it to your course instructor, again, which would be Dr. Stedman, and then he'll direct you when you're at the point of submitting to turn it in and to TaskStream. I would like to just say for everyone in Dr. Stedman's cohort, I did send out an email with some helpful resources. I don't know, it was probably Dr. Bullis, wouldn't you say that was about a week ago or so that you and I sent those out?
Yeah,
If you
absolutely.
have
It was
not
right at
checked
the
your
end of last
email,
semester. Yeah,
please
sure.
do that. I've always recommended to my students that you need to check your Gardner Webb email at least once a day. Especially with the turnaround that we're trying to provide for you to make sure that you're getting done on time. Please check your email every day. I had asked a couple of questions and asked for some responses. So if you have not responded to me, I will expect to hear from folks by tomorrow at say 6 o'clock, since that'll give you about 24 hours. But just keep getting that work into me. I'll get it back to you as soon as I can with my feedback. And I think we're going to have a great semester.
All right, thank you very much. And I've heard from a few of you, and I'll say this to everyone: if you're seeing zeros in the internship shell from the SCIP or the OMA, don't worry about that. Gardner Webb just copies the shell from one semester to the next, and sometimes it gets a glitch, and the due dates are still there. So the computer's thinking, well, gosh, you never turned this in this particular in semester 20, summer 2025, you never turn that in. So it trips an automatic zero. I'll go in there and manually remove those. So don't worry about that. If you're seeing that, you're focusing, you've already done the OMA, you've done the skip, you're good to go. You're focusing on the CAP and the PSYOP. Now, and but what we referenced a few moments ago is we did send an email out that had a video on the CAP, had a video on the PSYOP, had some resources for you. If you did not see that, did not get that, then contact me if I'm your clinical coach, or contact Dr. Maraglia if you're her, if she's your clinical coach. Make sure you get that email. I feel like everybody did. So talking about the CAP and the PSYOP, do you have any questions on the CAP or the PSYOP? We're going to open that up for right now. I think it's on the agenda to go into further detail, but the CAP can be a quick hit. You got 4 tasks. You review you're reviewing your culture of your school. And so you review the teacher working condition survey. Then you're taking a look at teachers' attitudes and review, and you're taking a look at how the school is made up. What are the demographics, what are the ethnicities, what are the subgroups, what are the services to those subgroups. That's task 2. Then task 3, you're pulling all that together, and you're looking at stuff that you would find on the school report card, or stuff that you would find on the internet, the mission, the vision statement. What's the culture of the school, and you're taking all those 3 tasks and you're forming an analysis of what that culture is for your school, making some recommendations as you go along with your team. And that's task 4. Does anybody, if you want me to, I can pull up the prompts and the directions and the rubric and the scale handbook. If you don't know what the scale handbook is, or you don't know where to find the prompts or the directions for the evidences yet, or the rubric, you need to let me know, because you need to get your hands on that, because you need to take each task when you complete it. You need to measure it against that rubric, because that's what I use. That's what Dr. Revis has used, Dr. Stedman uses. That's what the evaluator will use to make sure that you're hitting all the points that you need to hit. So any questions on the CAP?
Bullis, all that information that you just mentioned is in their course shell, and we will show them where it is before this evening's over with. But all of it is in there. Also, talk to them about your 2 videos, because Dr. Maraglia will follow that. It's the same thing for my group. Although Dr. Bullis is talking about it, you follow that same process. We've put it in our course shells as well. So make reference to those videos again.
I do have a question.
Yeah, I did. I sent an overview of the CAP. I sent it out to you. You should have got that. If you didn't get it, let me know. And I sent an overview of the PSYOP. And I go through the prompts and I go through the rubric telling you what's required for each of the tasks in specific detail. So if you haven't seen that, you really need to take a look at it. Not that I did anything great. I just looked and basically read from what the handbook was saying. But I'm pointing out some things that you need to pay attention to as you go through this process, especially here at the end. So take a look at those videos. I tried to keep them brief, so they wouldn't be take a lot of your time, and be really specific about what I give to you. So take a look at those videos. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Feel free to reach out to your clinical coach. Feel free to, we'll take a phone call, we'll do a Zoom, we'll correspond on email, whatever you need. But the PSYOP is, you really pay attention to that video, get the CAP knocked out. But I'm going to tell you, you're going to hear me say this 100 times. The PSYOP is not a copy and paste document. The PSYOP is not a copy and paste document. Yes, you can go back to the APSL, you can go back to the APTL, you can go back to the OMA, and you can pull information from that. But the rubric's very specific about what it asks for each task. Task 1, you don't need to put anything about PLC research. You don't need to put an annotated bibliography. It's not called for, so you don't need to do that. So only do what the rubric's called for. You're doing like any good administrator. You're taking past data and having present conversations to make decisions that will have a positive impact on your school in the future. So the PSYOP is the culminating evidence, the total school improvement action plan. So you're taking all that you have done up to now will help you with the PSYOP. You just need to have some new conversations about that data. If you copy and paste a figure that you used before, that's fine. If you copy and paste a narrative that you used before, that's fine. Just make sure it is within the context of the PSYOP. Don't send me something that says the CAP team said this or the skip team said that, because I'm going to send it back to you and say there shouldn't be a skip team. It should be a PSYOP team. So that's the main thing that I want to tell you. If you copy and paste everything that you did, that PSYOP will be 300 to 400 pages long, and no evaluator is going to want to see that. The evaluator recommends that you keep it 60 to 100, no more than 120. So that's why you just pull out specific information that the rubric calls for.
And Dr.
Any
Bullis,
questions on the PSYOP?
hold a minute. The student that wanted to, Dr. Bullis, and if they'll take what you've said, those videos, and if they'll take the helpful hint documents that we've developed for the CAP and follow that, honest to goodness, there is no reason for anybody not to make a 4 if you do it, if you follow it. We've given you the recipe for it. So follow the recipe. Don't leave one thing out and just say,
Absolutely.
I can leave that.
Absolutely.
If you put every bit of that in there and your APA is good, you should be good to go. We've laid it out for you, a lot of helpful stuff, because we realize the short time that you've got to get all this stuff done in. And also we'll go over due dates tonight. Don't, just know that you don't have to wait until then. You can go ahead and you may say this weekend, I'm going to camp out and I'm going to get as much of my CAP done or all of my CAP done as possible. You can submit it all at one time for Dr. Bullis or Dr. Maraglia's review and then come to us. You can get it over with. I've had one student,
Absolutely.
let's see, who is it? Is Colleen Graham. Colleen Graham. She has almost completed all of her weekly assignments. She's been working along and has done an exemplary job with them. So I'm just saying, you don't have to wait on these things. You can pace yourself. You just cannot be late on them. Okay, you can get as much to
Absolutely.
us.
That's great advice.
You can get as much to us ahead of time, and I would advise you to, but just don't let it be late. Okay.
Absolutely. And for those of you, now we do have the candidates online tonight that have finished the CAP already and also finished the PSYOP. Great job. You guys who are in that position, you just work on getting your task stream portfolio in line. I can come back, in about 2 or 3 weeks and we can talk about the task stream assignments if you want to do that, to make sure that you get that. The main thing for you, the main priority to you, number 1, get the CAP done. Number 2, get the PSYOP done, because if you don't have the CAP or the PSYOP done, then you can't finish everything you need to finish in task stream. You need those 2 evidences completed before you can finish all the other requirements in task stream. Now, any questions that I can help?
Hannah Moore has a question.
Yeah, I
Hey,
noticed.
Hannah.
Hi, on the rubric and then also on the CAP template, there was not a task for reflection competencies, but then the log that was provided as a helpful hint says that we need to have competencies from the CAP. So is that just something we need to do on our own?
No, you don't need to do that. Well, let me rephrase that. Originally, the CAP and the skip was together, and you did the CAP first and then you did the skip, and at the end of the skip you reflected on what you did in the CAP as well. That's changed a little bit for those of you who are going to this cohort and the pace that you're going right now. The end task for the CAP is that you just complete that graphic organizer about what you did at the end of tasks 1 through 3 of the CAP. Now, when you finish at the end of the semester and you start reflecting in the School of Ed disposition and the competency analysis and stuff like that, yeah, you can draw on all your experiences, every evidence with Gardner Webb. That's more of a reflection on the whole program than it is a specific evidence. So if you want to do that on your own for your own growth, that's great. But as far as the requirements of the CAP goes, you do not have to do reflections on task 4 of the CAP. Did that answer your question?
And just a quick clarifying one. So the Excel document that you sent, I think last semester, for example, Emotional intelligence, artifact 2, it says needs to come from the CAP.
Oh,
So,
okay, so you're talking about the competency folio, correct?
correct.
Okay, yeah, the competency folio, you're just in all the competency folio, that is just artifacts. That's evidence of your actions that you can show that you're competent in that particular leadership. So yeah, you will pull artifacts from the CAP, not reflections from the CAP. So you do an analysis of the North Carolina Teacher Working Conditions Survey, and you create some type of um, excuse me, my internet connection says it's unstable. So if I'm cutting out, just tell me to repeat myself. But you do a teacher working conditions survey analysis. You would put from the CAP, you would put that in to the competency folio. So that is just artifacts, not reflections. Now, in the description of the artifact, you may want to reflect on a little bit. I used this to do this, and this was the outcome. Here's the artifact to prove that occurred. Great questions.
And you're
Don't
right.
ask really hard questions. Don't do that.
Dr. Bullis said right. In the helpful
I'm
hints,
joking.
evidence 5, there it doesn't say anything about, those competencies at the end of this. There's 4 tasks in there, and it doesn't say anything about that. But the PSYOP, the last thing is the 21 competencies and its reflection. It will be differently. You'll respond to them differently than you did in the previous 2 semesters. And we'll talk about that, Hannah. So we'll make it easier for you to understand that.
Great question. Anytime something can hiccup, say, I don't remember what he said. I don't understand what he said. You got my contact information. You got my cell phone on there. Shoot me a text. We'll have a conversation. Hey, we are here to make you successful. This is fun stuff for me. I know I'm weird, but I enjoy this. It's fun stuff. It's fun stuff. So if it's like I tell my kids, if you don't reach out to me, then I don't think you need me. And that hurts my feelings.
I have a clarifying question too. So, like, task 1 is due May 27th. So, does that mean it's due to you on May 27th, Dr. Bullis, or it's due to Dr. Rivas on May 27th?
Hey, Leslie, good to see you and hear from you. That's a great question as well. Yes, it is due to Dr. Stedman, or excuse me, Dr. Revis by then. If you're in
Dr.
Dr.
Stedman.
Revis's cohort, then it's due to her. If you're in Dr. Stedman's cohort, then it's due to him on that date. So I need to see it ahead of time.
So, like for this weekend, because that's when I'm planning on working on it, are you going to look at those before the 27th?
Oh, absolutely. I don't want to get Dr. Stedman, Dr. Revis mad at me, so I'll be looking at them real quick. So I won't hold you up because they can, I don't know if you know, but both these guys can be pretty mean if they want to be.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure because I'll probably
Yeah.
have it done like Sundays. I just
Great.
wanted to make sure I could turn that into her by Tuesday.
Yeah, shoot me a text. Let me know that it's in there. Shoot me a text and let
Okay.
me know that it's in there, and I'll jump on it right then. Yeah, no matter where I'm at or what I'm doing.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Leslie,
Yes,
for
ma'am,
that.
my
And all
pleasure.
of us, Dr. Revis and I, Dr. Maraglia, Dr. Bullis, all of us are committed to as quick a turnaround as possible feedback. So if for some reason you have not got a response back in a very, very, I would say, Dr. Revis, no later than 24 hours at the latest,
Oh yeah,
and it's going to
yeah,
be soon.
absolutely.
You reach out to us and just say, I haven't heard anything, so we can make sure that we've got what we were supposed to get. You're going to get quick turnaround. Those that have put work in so far for Dr. Revis and me, we've given quick turn feedback on that already and graded all work that has come in. As of this afternoon, everything that had come to me has been cleared.
Yep.
I actually look at I look at my stuff personally. I look at it about 4 and sometimes 5 times a day to make sure that I clear out whatever. I don't go to bed at nighttime till whatever is in there is cleared out. So. Okay, good
All right,
question.
what else
So,
can I help you with? Oh,
I
I'm
will
sorry,
have
Dr.
to
Revis.
admit, Dr. Stedman, I'm not quite as diligent, but you'll get 24 hours. Now, I haven't looked at any of the CAP or the PSYOP work. I wanted to wait till our first class tonight, and then if you've got that ready for me, then I'll start working with that.
right. Right. Good questions, though. Y'all are so serious. Of course, we want you to be serious, but we want you to be happy that you're almost at the end of this journey. So, and no matter what Dr. Bullis said, we're really not mean people. We really are not. But anyway,
Maybe not to you guys, but whoa.
yeah, he does. We've worked together before, you can tell. Okay. Anything else before Dr. Bullis and Dr. Maraglia decide to leave us? Any more questions from them at this point? Anything else? Well, Dr. Bullis, Dr. Maraglia will communicate about when you're going to come back. You're welcome anytime, but when you specifically want to come back on, we will put you at the head of the agenda so that you can go ahead and do what you need to do, and then we can move on with what our presentations and the other things that we'll be doing on a weekly basis.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Thank you, everybody. Good to see you all.
night.
It'll be
Thank
fine. We're
you.
right here. We're right here. It'll be good. We'll get you. We'll get you there. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, guys, I'm going to ask you again to just, please hang with us. And if you have questions, be prepared to ask them at the end. But what I want to do, or Dr. Revis and I want to do at this time, we just basically want to take you through what, counting this week, what the next 10 weeks are going to look like and what you're going to need to do. Just remember that all of you, again, need to complete the enrollment verification activity, and go ahead and complete for your assignments, complete that contact information, that introducing yourself and your contact information, so that if we need to reach out to you, we'll have a phone number that we can reach you at. Well, Dr. Revis, I'm going to start out with just going quickly through their independent assignments. This is going to be under your assignments.
You're not sharing your screen,
Okay,
Dr.
I didn't share. Okay, I'm sorry. Let me come back out of that. Thank you. Okay, now let me minimize that. Come back with, here we are. Here we are. The schedule of activities and Zoom sessions, or no assignments for grade. Let's look at that. Here we go. Again, your contact information, you only get 1 point for that, but that just lets us know, how we can get in touch with you and with your Zoom teams. And I know that was a little bit of a cut out of your comfort zone for some of you, but trust us, it's, there's a rhyme and reason for it. You're soon going to be venturing into the role of an administrator if you're not already there. And more than likely, most of you're not going to be where you are. You've got to learn to be around new people and adjust, at a moment's notice to collaborate and working with other people. So we're kind of like the mother eagle and the eaglets. They don't want to get out of the mama's nest, but she nudges them out. So we're going to nudge you out and get you out of your comfort zones and, get used to some other people as well this semester. So that's the purpose of that. Assignment 1 this week from your Northouse textbook. This is a Northouse quote. So this is due by Sunday this week by 6:00 p.m. And remember, we are looking for grammar. That's important. We're looking for APA 7th edition, that you follow those same rules with that. You're not writing a dissertation, but we want you to make sure that you're giving us quality work. Quality may mean some quantity, but it doesn't always mean that. But whatever you do, make sure that you're putting your best efforts into it the first time. You'll have 3 case studies this semester. And you will not be working as you did in the past with your Zoom teams. This is all independent work, and they will serve as an assessment. Now, those of you that are in South Carolina, you have to take the Praxis. These are good assessments that we're using now. These kinds of things will actually be on the Praxis. Some of you may have taken it already, but if you haven't, you're going to have case studies. They're going to look specifically at how you, not your opinion, but how you back it up with the research, how you back it up with what the law says, how you back it up with what policy says. So those are the kinds of things that we're looking at in those 3 case studies. In all your other assignments, counting the one for this week, the Northouse assignment, you look at the Johari window. All of these others, you're going to find that the assignments that you do serve as a self-reflection. We want you to be able to, you're looking at yourself at this point. Yourself as someone that is soon going to be out in the field as a 21st century administrator. And you need to, it goes back to, you got to know yourself. You got to understand yourself. And all of these are helping you to look in the mirror and see yourself and pulling out internally, what is there, so that, you can say, this is what I like this about me. I didn't know this about me. This is something that I probably need to work on, as I'm moving. It's a tool to evaluate where you are and where you need to be. And you'll see this each week in these assignments. All of them are a reflection of you as a leader. We'll talk about this in more detail probably next week, but week 8, you cannot wait until week 8 to do that. Now, can you see my book? Can you see it? Okay, this is the Strengths-Based Leadership book. You cannot get that from the bookstore. And I wouldn't get the others from the bookstore either if I were you, if you haven't gotten them yet. Order them because you can get them cheaper than you can at the bookstore. They must be the current editions. But this Strengths Finder book, you have to order it. And Dr. Revis, I think you got it back in a couple of days when you ordered it. Is that correct? You order it from Amazon, someplace like that. But make sure that you order a new one. Do you see this? This has been opened up. There's a tab in the back. It must be a tab that has never been opened, because that holds the information that you're going to have to use to do your personal assessment when you finish the book and the activities. So you cannot get a used book, because if you do, then your information that you need at the back will not be there for you to do your own personal assessment. This is a book you're going to want to keep anyway. It's not a real expensive book, but if you haven't ordered it, you need to go ahead online tonight and order this textbook. And that's in your Blackboard shell as well, the title of the book and the edition and everything. So get that done, and we'll talk about that. This is the only assignment that you will come together as a Zoom team and work with. Just that one assignment. Your Zoom team will work on this assignment only, and you'll do the same thing. The Zoom team that you're assigned to, somebody will reach out and say, I don't mind being the leader. You'll set up the Zoom meeting, and you'll facilitate, but all of you will equally participate in that meeting, and we'll talk more about that, what our expectations are next week. But you need to get on that, start on that, and pace yourself with it along the way. And then the last session will be an interviewing session, and you may have heard some of this in the past from Dr. Lamb and Dr. Stone. We're going to invite Dr. Lamb to come online with us and to he's been trained professionally in interviewing, and he's going to share his expertise that night. And you will just respond back to lessons learned from that interview session with Dr. Lamb. And then you'll see here your CAP assignments. This is where you can, for each of the tasks, you'll get up to 50 points. Your final task combined up 100 points. Then you turn it in when it's ready and we tell you to, and then the task stream for evaluation. And the same thing for the PSYOP, the same process. But and then you've got your big assignment that we're going to talk about. This is your major assignment. And again, not minimizing the importance of the others. This is your major assignment, and this is where you will work with at least one other person in your class, and most likely, most of you, two other people, and this will not necessarily be the same people that you work with in your Zoom teams, okay? So I'm going to stop sharing now, and Dr. Revis, if you would go ahead and pull up but before we go, everybody, do you understand the flow? There will be an assignment due every week. On Sunday night, every week at 6 o'clock, it will be a personal assignment that is due, and it's pulled from those that I have just shown you. Okay? You don't have to wait until Sunday night. You can turn them in as soon as you get through with it, and we will try to get them back, a grade back to you as soon as possible. Any questions about the assignments? Okay, well, Dr. Revis, if you would, their big major assignment, let's go into that with an introduction of what it's all about, and then we'll talk at the end what you've got to do.
Okay. Dr. Stedman, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. All right. We're going to go over an overview, guys, of the professional standards for educational leaders. We call them the PSEL standards and the digital competencies. And so you're actually going to have teams that you will meet with, and we'll get to the end and show you how those are arranged. And you're going to be doing presentations, you and your team of 2 to 3 members, each night, and you have an assignment. So just very quickly, we're going to go through them. You have explanations, detailed explanations of what each standard means. There are 10 standards, all involving at the core student learning. So you have standards 1, 2, and 3, and those standards are grouped together, I think, to talk about the core values and the mission, vision, and responsiveness, culture responsiveness. Gosh, that sounds a lot like the CAP, doesn't it? Then we have 4 and 5. That's about curriculum and instruction, community of care and support for students. Then we have 6, 7, and 8, and 9. Again, those are about professional capacity building, that professional capacity of your school and your personnel, and that professional community of learners for your teachers, meaningful engagement of your families and communities, and the operations. And then lastly, school improvement. So there are 10 of those. So I don't want to go through all of these, but I just want to make a few highlights. Make sure that as educational leaders that you are developing, advocating, and sharing that mission statement, vision statement, and that your core values are of high quality, and that academic success of your students and the well-being of the students is at the core of all you do. So you've got to not only develop that mission, vision, and core values, but you have to be able to articulate it, advocate it, cultivate it, model it in your actions, and pursue those types of values. Then you have your ethics and professional norms. Well, guys, this is just about how you are demonstrating that you are an ethical leader and you are making decisions according to professional norms, that you are cultivating that culture, that all of us are going to act ethically and professionally within our work at the school. You are going to display integrity and fairness and transparency in all that you do, whether it's dealing with students, parents, teachers, whatever. We're always going to display that integrity. And it's always about transparency. You know, everybody went up in a hullabaloo about the Parents Right Act. I didn't go up in a hullabaloo for it because of it. You know why? We should be transparent always with everything that we do. And if there's something that you're trying to hide, that should be a red flag to you. And that you're providing that moral compass or direction of your school. It is so true, guys, that the school takes on your persona. And how you act and react to situations. And if you're, act very ethically and professionally in your relationships and how you treat others and how you deal with other things, all the things that you deal with, your staff will mimic your behavior. The second thing or third thing is about equity and cultural responsiveness. Again, this looks like a lot about the CAP and ensuring that you're treating everyone fairly and respectfully, and that you have an understanding of different cultures within your school. The fourth one, which is that to me at the heart of our work, is about that curriculum instruction and assessment. Your job as an instructional leader, we talk about that all the time. What does that mean? You're coaching your teachers. You're in those classrooms. You're giving that formative feedback. You're engaging in dialogue about curriculum and about instructional practices and assessment outcomes on a weekly, daily basis with your teachers. Community of care and support for students, very important. Since the pandemic, we've seen such a rise in that care for students, in that need. But we're going to make sure that we are cultivating that caring, supportive environment. Doesn't mean that we're going to dumb down our standards. What it means is we're going to scaffold and provide those supports. Building that professional capacity of your school personnel. Now, when you first get your principalship and meet your staff and get to working with them, you're immediately going to pick out your leaders. You're immediately going to pick out those people who are the unofficial leaders in your school, and you're going to very quickly see people that, boy, I wish this person would move on. Guess what? It's your job to work with them. It's your job to develop them, to give them that kind of support that they need. Your teachers are just like your students. They're individuals. They're coming and but you have to meet them where they are in their professional work. And it may mean a lot more support for some teachers than others. But it is your job to recruit, support, and develop and retain your effective, caring teachers. Building that professional learning community for your teachers and staff. And I know that in 601 in the fall, you delved into professional learning communities, and many of you discovered that, wow, we call it a professional learning community, but in my school, we really weren't doing that. Professional learning communities, at the heart of what we talk about, is student learning, right? And it's about how we can best as teachers modify our instructional practices to meet the students. And of course, you have to engage your families and communities in meaningful ways. And that's not to be overshadowed, but I'm going to get on through this. And then you have your operations and management. Now, one of your first assignments is talking about the difference between management and leadership. Well, you've got to be both. And if you think you don't, you're kidding yourselves. You can't just be a manager, but strong leaders are strong managers as well. And that's instituting, managing, and monitoring operations and systems within your organization so that things run smoothly. You don't want these things to interrupt your main purpose, which is learning, student learning. You've got to have systems in place so the operation goes smoothly, so that people know what to do, know what to be, how to know what's expected, when to expect it, and you have a procedure for things, that there's no guesswork. So with that, Dr. Stephen, I want to, well, then you got your school improvement. Of course, you put all that together, and you have to be a lifelong learner. You have to be on a quest for continuous school improvement. If you think you have you're finished your work, you're done, we're just going to keep doing the same old thing, you probably need to go ahead and either ask for a reassignment or retire, because you always need to be looking for ways to continuously improve our student learning and our school.
And
So,
Dr.
Dr.
Evans,
Stephen,
this
with
that
that,
number 10, that is really, that culminates just like the end of this program culminates for you with the SIOP, is the School Improvement Action Plan. So we're going to show you how all of this aligns with all the work that you've been doing all along. Okay?
will you take over the digital competencies, Dr. Stephen?
Okay. And then, first of all of these things that Dr. Revis has just talked about, and including the digital learning environment as well, all of this is part of an assistant principal and a principal's annual evaluation. So this is what you're going to be evaluated on. This is going to be expectations from you as a leader. This is for principals and assistant principals. Part of your responsibilities is dealing with digital learning. You must have a vision and strategy for digital learning environment. We're living in a digital world now, a digital society, and so your job is to, as the leader, is to create and communicate a vision with the school, your school improvement plan. Cultivate and articulate that vision, as it relates to what digital learning is going to be in the school and in the school environment. Create equitable and sustainable plan. Focus on personalized learning supported by digital learning. For instance, I'm looking at Hannah Moore and I'm looking at Leslie Pope. Leslie may be she may start out, she may know, she just may be a technology guru. She knows everything there is to know about it. But Hannah may not be as adept in it. So, as the principal of the school, as the assistant principal of the school, you've got to take people from where they are. And you've got to be able to personalize learning from them. Just because Hannah is not where Leslie is, doesn't mean that that she's less of a teacher, less of your responsibility is to help her to get to where Leslie is. Now, has Leslie arrived? No. If Leslie's way up there, then you've got, as the leader, you've got to help Leslie even climb higher. What are some new opportunities for her? So those are the growth plans professional growth plans that you help your staff with on an annual basis. Then standard 2, content and instruction. It's all about the content and instruction. If it's not what it needs to be, then it's not going to promote the student learning and the growth that you need in your students. And you can see all of that is you have to model what you expect. You have to monitor what monitor gets done. That's a saying. What monitor gets done. So you've got to model. You got to monitor. You got to know what you're talking about. You got to know when you monitor, you got to know what you're looking at to understand it and to be able to provide help. Again, promoting communication collaboration, providing professional development instructional materials that can help them successfully, your staff and teachers, do what they need to do. Establish systems to analyze the data. If data's not any good if you're not disaggregating it and determining this is where we are, this is where we need to go based on what the data shows us. And then establish systems for vetting and acquiring digital content. And we know that this can be it can be a costly investment. So you've got to look at, what's out there. That there's some freebies out there too. What freebies are out there that I can use? What are some things that with my Title I monies or that I can invest, get the best bang for my bucks with? So you've got to do that. Remember when you did the APTEL and you had to do your annotated bibliography and you had to look at the digital programs, the online programs. Remember that? That's an ongoing process for you as an administrator. Dr. Revis, going to standard 3. And then it goes on to how to use digital tools. I'm not going to, I think you can, human capacity and growth. Let's go on to standard 4. Personal growth and connectedness, develop a personal network and seek continuous growth. Reflect on, share, and model emerging promising practices, connect and evaluate. Again, you can't just pretend that it's happening by assimilation. You've got to put it out there as the leader of the school. You've got to be able to provide the resources and put everything else out there that's needed to help your staff grow, but you've got to grow yourself professionally as well. You've got to roll your sleeves up and get involved in everything that's going on at your school. And number 5, standard 5 is the community. Use digital tools to engage stakeholders, two-way communication, to model appropriate use, to facilitate and leverage partnerships. All of this goes back to this is working with the CAP that you're working on right now, the Community Advocacy and Action Plan. So all of this ties in, every one of these standards, all the work that you've done with the 4 evidences that you've completed and the 2 that you're going to complete, all of these standards tie in to all of this. They work hand in glove, they mesh together. Okay, just move on. Dr. Revis, did you put the assignment on there? Did you take that off? I can't hear you. Can't hear you. You're muted, Dr. Revis. Dr. Revis, you're muted. Okay. Well, let me share. Okay, let's go down to, and this is where you find at the very end. Let's look at what this assignment looks like. This is the PowerPoint that we just we've just gone over. So you will have access to that. That goes along with your presentation assignment. But this is everything that you will need to be able to get this assignment done. Now, just remember, you're a principal, you're an assistant principal. Your superintendent says, it says, welcome, I, your superintendent, will conduct your end of year evaluation. I've asked you to prepare a presentation on your PSEL standard or digital competencies. You are making this presentation based on your assigned school. So there's some things that you will look at as a team, and you'll come to consensus what you're going to say. But when you report out your 5 minutes of fame, Heather, your 5 minutes of fame, Heidi, your 5 minutes of fame, Dr. Revis, you're going to be talking about the school where you work. You're looking at your school. So You're going to talk about the whatever standard or competency you're assigned to. You're going to talk about the strengths and areas for improvement. When you look at that standard, and I'm picking on Heather because I see her. When you're looking at that standard, Heather, what are the strengths in your school based on what that standard is? What are the weaknesses based on that school? You're looking internally at your school. You're going to prepare a presentation for the class. You're going to present that with your 5 minutes of fame. These presentations will be done via Zoom on your assigned night, and the template information is below. Now, what's going to happen? A team is going to be assigned to standard 1. Mission, vision, and core values. That team actually is going to be, and that doesn't start next week, it starts week 3. That team is going to be from my class, Julia Freeman, Chelsea Hauser, and Heidi Barber. They're going to work as a team. And on the same night, standard 2 from Dr. Revis's group, Renva Bartel, Henry Hanking, and Claude. Anyway, these are going to be Dr. Revis's students that will be doing standard 2 that same night. Okay, this is what my team will have: mission, vision, and core values. Dr. Revis's team will have ethics and professional norms. Again, what is it that you've got to do? Okay, let's look at this. You must include the following, but more can be included at your discretion and as applicable. Each team will have 30 minutes maximum to present. Okay, now when Julia, Chelsea, and Heidi come together, they're going to meet together via Zoom. When they come together, they're going to look at slide 1. Slide 1 is they're going to decide together what slide 1's going to look like. They're going to introduce the standard. Standard 1, they're going to introduce it. They're going to talk about it, professionally. They're going to talk about this standard. Then they're going to come together in slide 2. As a group, you're going to get consensus. In your own words, what does this standard measure and why is it important? Why is that important? As a team, you're going to talk about that. Then this is where it becomes individualized. Julia's going to look at her school. Chelsea is going to look at her school, and Heidi's going to look at her school. They've got 5 minutes of fame. You're going to say, what does this look like for your school overall? Each member of the team will talk about their own school. You're going to give examples for your school using the prompts for slides 4 through 6. And again, 5 minutes for each member of the team. You're going to list your 3 major strengths in this area. Each member of the team will talk about what it looks like at your school with that standard. Then you're going to talk about the major opportunities for improvement in that area based on what it looks like in your school. And then you're going to say, based on my school, you're going to decide on what, you're going to give it an overall rating. If you think it's, at the top, then you will have supported it with the evidence. You can give it a rating, and you're going to say, this is why I feel like my school is at that. You're to look at your school, and you're to make a personal assessment on your school based on what the standard says and what it looks like or doesn't look like at your school. And then as a team, after all 3 of you have presented, or all 2 of you have presented, you're going to come back together as a team. You're going to bring closure, and you're going to tie it all together. And that's going to be your team bringing it back together. This is what it's going to be starting week 3. There will be 2 presentations every week until we get the 10 standards done. Then on July 9th, you're going to see that from my class, Tony Smith and Colleen Graham are going to do Digital Competency 1 together. And then Audrey Stevens and Joseph Weaver are going to come together and do digital competency 2 together. And then the next week, Dr. Revis's class will finish it out with these people, all three presenting in that one night. Now, we're going to treat this as if, we're going to look at this because you're getting 200 points for this. We're going to look at this as how you work together as a team. Really what you say. What you say is very, very important. Do you have an understanding of what that standard really means or what that competency really is? Do you have an understanding of it? How you convey that information, and then how you hone in specifically on your school, and that's the meat of it. How you look at your school, and what takeaways can you take from this that you can go back to your administration at some time and talk to them about it. We're not asking you to do that for the summer. But we're saying that this is an opportunity for you to say, in my class, this is what I found. And then it's important that, with this team that's doing PSEL Standard 1, if they only looked at that one standard, then, they're going to only know 1/10 of what, all 10 are required for your evaluation. It's important that you listen carefully every week to what the others have to say. And while they're talking, you need to be thinking about your school and how that applies to your school while they're talking about their schools. Dr. Revis, did I miss anything with that?
I don't think so. Of course, guys, this means you're going to work in groups, either as a triad or a pair, and you're going to have to be planning this presentation as you go through. So, our first group on June the 4th, you've got to get cracking with this. And, when you're the first presenters, you're going to set kind of the tone. So, if you look at this and you're thinking very quickly, oh my goodness, we're going to have at least an hour of the class is going to be taken up with these presentations. And you are correct. So again, we need to plan on meeting at least an hour and a half. We will always have some new things. Want to always give some time for you to ask questions on assignments. We're not going to go much into the evidence work. You've got to do that with your clinical coaches. So a lot of work.
Any questions about the assignments? Do you understand the direction that you've got to follow with the big project, the PSEL standards and digital competencies? Have I explained it enough? And Dr. Revis, I would suggest that somebody from your Zoom team, you can go back, where your Zoom teams are. Somebody from your Zoom team, you go back and reach out to the others in your team and say, when can we get together, and go ahead and begin looking at this assignment and begin planning for it. Okay. So don't let it sit too long before you do that.
Dr. Stedman, let me just say this. My Zoom teams are different than the teams for this assignment.
And most of mine are, some of them may have, it may have just by chance happened that way, but most of mine are different too. If there's some of the same in there, then it was just by chance that it happened.
Right. So the Zoom team assignment, I believe, is assignment 8.
Right.
And you'll need to start preparing for that.
I see what you're saying now.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying now. You need to connect, excuse me, the people on this assignment list, I apologize. Whoever's name's on this assignment list right here, you reach out to those people for this assignment. We'll talk about assignment 8 later on, okay? You reach out to the people that's on this list for this assignment, as I pointed out earlier. Let me go back down to this list again. So Julia, Chelsea, and Heidi, you're going to reach out to each other to plan. And then Dr. Revis's group in red is going to do the same thing. Okay. I want to show you something if you haven't found it yet. We have, okay, you see this section, task stream, course assessment information for the CAP and the PSYOP. If you click there, this is where you're going to find the videos that Dr. Bullis has provided for your clinical coach. You're going to see the CAP requirements. This is honestly, let me click on that. If you follow this along with the other, we have taken this and we have just basically broken it down in layman's terms. Don't leave any of this information out. Make sure that it's all inclusive, and please make sure that you go back and follow APA. You know, nothing has changed with APA. So make sure that you try to get it all right the first time. Now, go back to what Dr. Bullis and what Dr. Maraglia said. When you submit it to when you send CAP Task 1 to Dr. Revis, or you send CAP Task 1 to me, from this point on, it should have clearly been, it should have been cleared from them. When we see it, we know that they have said they're okay with you going ahead and submitting it to us. Now, does that mean that we won't send something back sometime and say, we need you to look at this again, or if we catch something? No, we might do that. But for the most part, it's probably going to go ahead and go through after we look at it, unless we just see something major that needs to be done. So the ones that have submitted to this point, I'll go back and I'll look at that again. They have, as long as you have cleared with Dr. Maraglia in my class, you don't have to send it back to her anymore. I will work with you where it is. And Dr. Evans, I think you're going to do the same thing with Dr. Bullis. If it's in there, they don't have to send anything back to them. But if you have not submitted, make sure that it goes through them first before it comes to us. Everybody good with
Correct.
that?
Yeah, I've already had one student submit to TaskStream, already has cleared all her evidences
That's great.
in CAP and PSYOP. So, you know, she doesn't have to do that. And that's great. We want you to move along and get this done as quickly as you can, but do not skip going to your clinical coach first.
Okay. Now, folks, I know you might be a little bit overwhelmed. We've said a lot tonight. You've come a long ways. You know, you're just about there. And as tough it is going to be, Dr. Revis and I, we're going to love on you as we need to love on you, but we're going to be as hard on you as we need to be as well. I can't stress enough again, you must follow deadlines. You have to keep up with these deadlines. You cannot, you'll not be able to complete this program if you don't. Now, if it's on your calendar, and we're not deviating from this. If we say it's due Sunday night at 6 o'clock, if it's 1 minute past 6, guess what? It's late. And you're not going to get full credit for it. If we say it's due Tuesday at 6 o'clock and it's not there, it's late. You're not going to get full credit for it. That's not fair to the others that are doing what they're supposed to do. And that's the only way we can get you through this summer and you not get behind. Trust me, I've been teaching this class for the last 6 years. I know what it takes to get you through. And if you'll listen to us, and Dr. Revis has worked with me as a coach in the class. If you work with us, I promise you, we'll get you through and you're going to be fine. But you've got to make it a priority.
And I know that's probably tough to think about because you're worn out with
You are.
school. You can't wait to school to get out. But guys, you just got one more semester. So give it all you got and let's finish strong.
Okay, now I'm going to shut up for a minute. Dr. Revis is going to shut up and we're going to let you, anybody that doesn't have any questions, you can hang out if you want to. But if you don't have questions, you can sign out. Reach out to us if you need to. But anybody that still has a question, you can start shooting the questions now and we'll answer them till we've answered all the questions. Anybody? Or Dr. Revis? I believe we got some experts on our hand. Casey, those students I had first semester, it's so good to see Casey and Chelsea. Let me see who else I got. Where's my names? I had Chelsea, Casey, Savia. I had one more. And Julia. It's good to see y'all back this semester. But
If you don't feel comfortable raising your hand, if you want to use the chat box to ask a question, now's the time.
hey Milton, it's good to see you again.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Hey,
It's Clarice Russell.
Clarice Russell. I like that name.
Thank you. I do have a question about the books because I did not do the bundle,
Uh-huh.
but I did call to the bookstore and I was asking them what you all had on there, and the guy told me for one of the books, I think y'all have like edition 9th edition or 10th edition. And he said the Bulldog bundle had the 8th edition. Let me see which book that is. Hold on one second. It is the Leadership Northhouse. This one.
Dr. Revis, can you unmute? Dr.
I think
Revis?
I had to, yes, I think I had to order the 9th or 10th edition.
Yeah,
But you'll be fine.
right.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, you should be able to get the same information in that that you need. Say your name again. Carice. You should get what you need should be in that textbook. But now listen, if you can get it from Amazon or somewhere like that faster, you'll get it cheaper too. And stuff comes from. I would look at them before I bought it from the bookstore.
That's what I did, and then I received 2 of these. I bought 2 of these. I didn't know the strengths based leadership because you all said we needed a brand new one, and I think that I did get was used, but then it doesn't have the 2.0 on it on the new one.
Right. It does. Mine does too.
Okay. So am I okay with this?
You're okay. Yes, as long as it's got that seal in the back that has not been broken.
Yes.
Yeah, you're okay.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Other questions?
I have a quick question.
Okay, Brittany.
I didn't see the person I'm supposed to work with on that presentation. I didn't see them on tonight. Is that possible that they probably dropped the class?
I would not think anybody has dropped the class, Brittany.
Okay.
Brittany, who are you with?
I think it's like Yesenia. I think it's her name.
She's here. She was.
Okay. I didn't see it on the participant thing, so I just wanted to double check and make sure.
She was here.
Okay.
She may have gone off by now, but she was here.
Okay.
Other questions?
I don't have a question, but Dr. Stedman, I was going to tell you that everybody from our group showed up
Yeah, I saw.
except Joseph.
Okay, yeah, and
We
I'm
know
gonna
why.
I'm gonna reach out to Joseph and see if I can find out what's wrong.
I did too.
Okay,
Good
thank
to
you.
see you.
Does anybody know
Yeah.
anything about Tremaine? Okay. All right. Well, if you guys have a relationship with him, please reach out with him, and so he doesn't get behind. And I'll
Casey,
reach out to him.
I'm sorry. Casey, did you say you knew something about Joseph?
Only what somebody else said
Okay,
earlier.
okay,
that
gotcha. Okay,
I
okay,
reached out to him anyway.
okay, thank you.
Dr. Stedman, did you see my message to you in the chat
I'll
about
look.
starting this?
Let me look.
I
Who
just
is-
wanted to make sure I was counted here. Ashley Spiegel.
Oh,
I
yeah,
just
yeah, yeah,
wanted to
yeah,
make sure
yeah, I
was
got
counted
you.
today.
I got you, Ashley. Yes, thank you.
Sorry, I'm the testing coordinator at my school, and we had a misadministration today, so it's been a stressful day.
I can understand. Thank you, Ashley. You're gonna be good.
A quick question.
Okay?
Okay, so do we have to turn in the presentation to you guys, or is it
Yes.
just we present it? Okay.
No, you're gonna submit it to us, where the assignment is for a grade as well. We need to see it, as well as we need to, you need to submit it to us as well as present it.
So if we collaborate like on a Google slide, would it be best to download it as like a PDF and submit it?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, good question.
thank you.
Okay, other questions? Okay, guys. Reach out to us if you need us, and we'll see you next Wednesday. Okay,
Good night.
y'all have a great weekend, long weekend.